You must be excited, sorry, to have Cam Warren come back this week because I mean he's not your usual 16-year-old player, and I mean he's
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we're thrilled. He does a lot of things for our lineup. He's going to help the power play, things like that. And then you just see what he did at the U17s. I mean, he's world class. We're not shocked that number one, he comes back with a gold medal because he's just a winner, and number two, that as an individual he did extremely, extremely well. So, not shocked by the performance, and thrilled to have him back.
Sometimes going back to guys like the Brett McKenzies and the Adam McMasters, they were going there sort of trying to find their footing. This guy's already found his footing, but everybody seems to come back with a little bit more confidence. How much do you think that's going to be the case with a guy like Cam after how well they did?
Well, I think he just oozes the self-confidence, but you're right, and that's why I wasn't shocked that he had such a good performance. Having done that tournament, oftentimes the players that are playing a lot with their club teams, are in good roles, are doing all those things, are the ones that do really well because they're used to those roles and are getting a lot of opportunity. And Cam's earned that with us, and he goes there and he leads the way again. So, but yeah, I just think with him it's. He rises to the level in big games. He got better as the tournament went on. I could go on, but again, thrilled to have him back.
Is it interesting because you say you coach you've done this tournament as well. He's getting coached by different people. It's only for a week, but when he comes back to you, is there anything you have to kind of retune him and the way you coach?
No, not too much because having done the Hockey Canada stuff, I know they probably wouldn't throw a ton of just like system stuff. It's more, the Canadian way, the mentality of how you're going to play. So, no, I don't think there's going to be much adjustment there for him.
Good news though for from a guy who's experienced it and having two Canadian teams in the final for Canada is I can't remember the last time I saw two Canadian teams in the final.
Yeah, and the new format, when I was doing it, there was 3 Canadian teams. So you're up against it a little bit, especially when you're going against teams that are kind of playing together all year long. Now that they've gone to 2 teams, they're having a lot of success, and it's just great to see that. And you really need a lot of things to align. Just, wasn't sure if they're going to play each other in the semifinals or the way the crossovers work, and it turns out that they both make it to the finals, and it's a great tournament for those kids and for both Canadian teams to get that experience.
Knowing what a 3-3 is like, it's very hard to manage 3 games in 3 days, whether it's junior A or major junior. Tell me, I guess, how much of a challenge that was for you guys on the road. Kind of an up and down weekend, I guess you could say.
Well, and probably the Sunday game showed that, just in terms of the up and down roller coaster. It's more a mental grind than anything. I think these guys are really physically fit, but the mental side of it, I was thrilled, being down by 2 there late in the game, and you make that push. That shows me that, we're dialed in and bought in. It was a huge point to get. And I just, you go on that road trip, any which way you slice it, you try to come back 500. And, I think that's a good way that we did that, and now we can push forward here with a couple at home.
I watched both games, obviously. Is this just a junior hockey thing in your mind when you play, like, let's be blunt, awful on Friday night, and then you blow out a team the very next night in a total script flip? Did you say anything specific between those 2 games? Do you think the guys just realized themselves they got to dig a lot deeper?
Yeah, I got asked this question already, and I probably would have handled it differently, 8 or 9 years ago as a first-year coach. But now you realize that less is more sometimes, and understanding, the travel to get out there and all those, and not that I ever want to give our players excuses, but it does help the coaches manage the message and not to panic. And yeah, I was happy to see the bounce back on Friday, one of our better games of the year. Really well done, and it was nice to see that because, staying away from them a little bit, letting the leadership kind of do their thing, that was a strategy on that one.
Obviously, some of the older guys, there are some that are finding their groove, but there's still others that are like Ethan and maybe Wellenwright are guys that are still having a tough time trying to find the scoring again. How do you try to get them, give them the confidence and support, and how do you work with them as they try to get out of a bit of a funk to start the year?
Showing the really good things that they're accomplishing. I think all in all, in this weekend, it was, I know we didn't do great the Friday night, but scored a lot of goals. all throughout the lineup. Guys got off the score sheet that needed to get on the score sheet. That was really good to see. And yeah, the ones you mentioned, I think it's coming. I mean, probably two of the better games that both those guys have had in terms of chances and generating things. So it's a matter of time, and I believe in them.